Good evening and welcome to the craft store. I'm just showing you 3 of the samples that were made for the videos of this brand new release that we're releasing exclusively tonight. So let's go forward and say hello. Hello! Thank you for joining me here on the craft store on Facebook and also on YouTube. So remember that you can watch exclusively on the craft store and on YouTube if you want to. If you want to say hello, if you want to say any questions or anything else, then pop over to Facebook and pop your questions on there so I can say hello. So I can say hello to Susan and Audrey, and who else have we got? Valerie and Andrea. Loads of Erica from Giggleswick and everybody. So welcome to the craft store, welcome to Crafts 2 and welcome to the Art of Craft. So if you've not watched one of the shows before, just to let you know, we've put a link on the top of the page, we've put a link on the comments as well. So if there is anything we're using tonight or you want tonight's exclusive launch, you can click through and get that directly from us through the Art of Craft. So you are buying directly through us through the Art of Craft, and you're going to get some amazing deals. So I'm going to sort of go through what we've got first and making sure I get this right. So let's just see if I do this right. There we go. Hopefully I do. So what are we launching tonight? So tonight we are launching the brand new notched FrameMaker. So I'm going to show you through the die, but I'm also going to show you lots of demonstrations on how to use it and tell you all about the videos and things like this, things like that. So this is, I don't even have one in a packet to show you, to be honest. I really don't. I've only got the actual physical die, which I think sometimes is far more important to see. So this is the last of the notched FrameMaker dies. This is the last of the squares or the rectangles in this beautiful notched finish. And this has got, as this is a 6-inch die. Yeah, so this is a 6-inch FrameMaker, so perfect for your 6-inch cards, but also perfect for your 5-inch cards. So we have got some different options for you tonight if you're wanting this and you're liking the look of it. And I've got to say, the insert on this, if I zoom it in, try and get it in the right place, the insert in this is my absolute favourite of all of the inserts I've done. It is so delicate. I'm going to hold up one of the samples there on that corner. Can you see? It cuts you that beautiful leaf pattern, but it even punches in all those little holes. So all those beautiful little sort of holes that give the leaves, sort of give the stamens of the vines and things like that. So we have got some different options. So if you've got the other ones in the range and you just need the new notch FrameMaker, you can get that for £19.99, which is a saving of £2 on the RRP. And remember, this is exclusive. Through here is the only place at the moment you can get this die set. So if you want to be the first, you need to click on it and get it for a good price. But the other options we have got is, we launched a couple of weeks ago, the flowers and the leaves that match those. And these are the absolutely beautiful. These are my favourites. And I know I'm not supposed to have those. And I know I've done so many flowers, but this one to me is so different. So you're going to get the stitched dogwood flower, which gives you out 12 flowers in one pass. And then this, you're going to get the matching stitched leaves, which has got 6 different sizes, left and right, of leaves with a beautiful stitch detail through it. Plus, you're going to get the brand new notched vines frame. So this bundle is £39.97, which is saving £5. So if you missed out on the flowers and leaves and you want some of the flowers and leaves that you can see that are on these cards here, that match so perfectly with it, then this is the bundle that you want to get. We have got one more bundle for you as well. So if you did want to add in the infinity die, and I want to show you a couple of samples here. So if you wanted to add in the new infinity die, let's put that on the right set camera, which matches this frame exactly, gives you a whole brand new center for it. And here we've got it matched with the 5-inch and the 6-inch. Get it the right way up, John. You can get that one as well. So if you're wanting to add in the brand new FrameMaker and the beautiful infinity panel, which fits this absolutely perfect, and the flowers and the leaves and the brand new notched vine frame maker. You can get all of that. So that's all 4 die sets for just £49.96. Again, saving £5, but actually you're saving £10 on RRP. So that's £5 on our individual prices, but you're saving £10 on the retail recommended price. So you've got lots of options. You can get all 4. So I'm going to flick you over to the overhead. So you can get all 4 of these die sets if you're wanting them. So if you missed out on the last new release, which was a couple of weeks ago, you can get the brand new notched frames. You can get the matching new center panel for it when I find it, honestly, which is this infinity die. And just to show you that die in real life, it really is a big die, and it's an interchangeable panel with this die set, so you can get that one. Yeah, you can also get the stitched flowers, stitched leaves with this, so you're going to get that die set as well. Let's pop these onto one side. Yeah, and then you can also get the stitched flowers. Now, someone's just asked, Beth Bose, or Bosey has just asked, where are you located? I'm in Kansas. We're located in the south of England, but we do ship to America. So if you go onto the website with one of the links that we've put on there, you can actually order for the US, and we will send to the US, and postage and packing is just charged at cost. So all you pay for is the actual cost of actually sending it over to you. So you don't have to pay an over or under or anything like that. If you're in the UK, it is free P&P over £20. So this bundle, which is all of these, is just £49.96 delivered. Obviously, we then have the other bundles as well. So if you wanted just the new die and the flowers and the leaves, then this is just £39.97. So effectively, you're only paying £10 more for that one. It's crazy. So you can get that one at £39.97. Again, free P&P in the UK. Yeah. Or alternatively, if you just want the new die, you can get the new die on its own at £19.99. But if you're going for that, add something else into your basket, because don't forget, you're going to pay £3.49 postage on that because it's under the £20. So add something else into your basket. At the very least, add the flowers, because I love those, or a glue glaze or something like that. So what I want to do is I'm going to take you through some samples of this so that you can see, and then I'll take you through the boards. So if you can see here, this is the beautiful center panel of this die, and this is what I call an infinity die. So this is repeatable on all of the aspects. You can make a whole sheet of this pattern, but that beautiful delicate tracery around it. But look how gorgeous it looks like that, just in gold, just flat mounted. And this sort of FrameMaker die is so easy to use. I am going to die that one. I am going to, demo that one and show you how we make that. But again here, look how beautiful it is, just the plain frame on its own with that center in it. Or, as Carol's done here, repeated. So you can repeat the panel to make yourself a beautiful long card, or just using the inserts, as Helen's done here. So just using the inserts and trimming it down. It doesn't have to be at the whole size. So, I mean, I've got so many more samples that I could flick through and show you. And I did show you earlier how beautifully they work together with the infinity dies. Yeah, so work really, really well. And so Helen Louise, quite a few people are saying in the comments, add a glue glaze to your order. If you're just going for that die on its own, that one at £19.99, add one of the glue glazes in, because you might as well, effectively it's free, rather than paying the postage in effect. So it's really worth it. So what are we talking about when we're talking about the FrameMaker and we're talking about this new notched die set? So you can see here on the board the FrameMaker, and I'm sorry, I know loads of people know this, but people might be new. It is a unique design that I came out with. So you have a fixed die piece like this. And you cut that on card and you will get this beautiful notched outside with a square inside, every single time identical all the way around. You will get that one. But we have these insert panels. So these insert panels can be added into that die to cut to give you a beautiful pattern all the way around, or just in two corners. So you've got it tracing around the corners because you get 4 of them. That's what's so useful on this one. When we add it together, and this is the clever thing about the FrameMaker, can you see there? We've got that beautiful sort of clotted cream yellow colour behind the white. All done just using the FrameMaker. Because of course, every time it's the same panel that cuts out the detail as cuts out the plane. So they will match every single time. But of course, that's not everything. Because these panels are separate and you get 4 of them, it means that first of all, you can put all 4 around your piece of card like this and cut them, and it just cuts in the pattern. So that's a perfect square. So of course these inserts will match perfectly with your previous FrameMaker dies if you've got any of those. But if you look at that pattern there, and I've got to bring this a bit closer up so that you can actually see that. But you look there, how beautiful is that? You could put all sorts of colour between it. You could colour it in all sorts. But because the panels are separate, you can put them in any location. That, I think, is the actual prettiest of the inserts that I've ever done. And I think, oh, Marion's just said, I think this is the prettiest frame you've designed, love it. I genuinely think this is the prettiest one I've done. How delicate is that? And it cuts in one pass. It cuts so easy. So you can see there. But what it does, it gives you a perfect circle in the middle. So it was designed so that you can match that with your circle dies and take it out. Or if you want to be, and you want to be clever, I've sized it so that the actual separate die that's inside the infinity fits in the middle and cuts it out, or adds a piece onto it, and the other section of the infinity die, so you can have a little frame on there as well. So it's been designed to work perfectly with that infinity die that works absolutely spot on with it, and I will take you through that in a little while as well. But don't worry, I am going to demo as well. I've got Sam in the other room putting all the links on and everything, but I can know he'll be shouting at me about make sure you do some demoing quickly. These 2 squares here, this is the waste from cutting your FrameMaker. So you get a perfect square, and that size is 4 inches. Because your frame is 6-inch perfect, that gives you a perfect 4-inch square. But then we've included a second die in here to give you another layer just there, and that gives you a perfect 3 3/4 inch layer. So you're going to get those squares out of it. But of course, that's not everything, because if we move it on, you've got that center panel. And that center panel, you can cut it out with the square and get that beautiful pattern, or you can just drop it into a square of card and get, and I think that's so delicate and intricate, and you would think that's not going to cut. That cuts like a dream because of the way that we actually have our dies made and manufactured, and with that Teflon coating. But there's another trick on this one. If you look, can you see here, that pattern continues all the way down. The die just continues on, and I've already filmed a video on YouTube. There are 3 new videos on YouTube for you to watch, which show you exactly how this is done and extended. And I could extend it out that way. I could make an entire square panel of this. I just think it's a beautiful die on its own. So that's all of the elements that you're going to get inside your FrameMaker die, and that's your brand new notched FrameMaker. Now, as I said, you can, if you want to, add in the flowers and the leaves. So these were designed to match with that one. So in the flowers, you're going to get, you get 6 sorry, you get 6, you get 12, you get 4 each of 3 sizes, 3, 6, 9, 12, and they've all got stitch detail running all the way through them. Then you also get the stitched leaves, yeah? So you're saving £5 on this. That die on its own is £14.99. So for an extra £20, you're getting the whole lot. You get 6 sets of leaves, large, medium and small, with that stitch detail all the way through the centre, where the vines would be, or where the sort of stamen would be, yeah? Jane Briggs has just said the centre panel's very Moroccan. I never thought of that. It is. And Sarah just said it's a need in your stash. It really is, this one. It really is. So if you want to add all of those, but just to show you, that's the board of just a few of the different flowers that Helen's made making those. But I want to show you here some of the differences you can get when you stack them up. Look how beautiful those flowers are. Or again, this is one of the video cards, so you can see exactly how I made this, but just doing them, folding them the other way round. Or one of my favourites, when we mix them in with the Zora flower, and you get they almost look like passion flowers or a different flower, but you've got all of that stitch detail showing on everything. These are very quickly become my favourite flowers. So that's the other bundle, and you can also, if you want to, go up just another £10 and add in the final set in there, and that is this infinity die. So the infinity die matches in with this absolutely perfectly. It fits in there, and it fits in that slot. So if I bring the die in, you can see there, it's been sized exactly to give you a new centre, because everyone's always asking about new centres for that one. Now, I'm going to follow what Michael said, because Michael said, please demo it. I cannot wait to get it. So these will, if you order here and it's exclusively with us at the moment, this will come out to you. They'll start sending them out from tomorrow. You know, you will be the first to get it. So I want to show you how it works. And I think demoing is the best thing. So this is just using the notched frames. So let's show you how to make a frame. The simplest thing ever. I'm just going to put a simple one together to start with. Then I'll show you how to extend the panel. So I've got here just a piece of white card. I've cut this probably to 6.5, 6.5. It doesn't matter. You can use a whole A4 sheet. I just don't like to waste card. And all we do is put down our FrameMaker, and I tape it loosely at the top. Simple as that, yeah? And then we take these inserts, and it doesn't matter where they've come from. Each one slots in, so you find and slot it into place. Simple as that. Tape it down across there. Take the next one, put it into the slot, tape it down. And remember, as Anne Mountjoy's just said, she loves the videos. There are 3 separate videos already. There's nearly 700 videos filmed just like this over my hands of me making, you know, well, like nearly 700 different cards or projects. So everything I'm doing now is all covered on the YouTube videos. So don't worry if you get this and you think, oh, I can't watch back. You can watch back on the Craft Store YouTube channel. So you can watch it on there. Or alternatively, you can watch the YouTube videos, and there's a link, there's a QR code on the back of the packaging, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm just going to run that through cutting, but we put a QR code on the back of the packaging. You click on that and it will take you to the John Next Door YouTube channel, and from there you'll be able to watch all of the videos and be able to watch all of the lives that we do as well, because we do a lot of lives. So you can see here in one pass, that centre panel literally just wants to pop out. That outside does. All of that detail is cut. If you need to with your machine, you can just rotate it. So rotate your die. So these sides might not, they've actually cut, but you might want to be sure, or your machine might not. Just rotate it and run it back through. But of course, I have got a piece I've already cut. here. So I've got a piece I've already cut, because I think it's really important for you to see what it looks like and not have to sit and watch me pricking every little bit out. So let's move that out of the way. So here's one cut. So we get that beautiful pattern in there, but obviously we want to put a colour behind it. So let's take this out, and it's as simple as this. All I'm going to do is take out these insert panels, exactly the same die. So you can see here, let's pop the inserts back properly. Let's make sure, let's do an organised job, John. Remember, guys, if you've got any questions you want to ask tonight, just put the word question or Q in the comments on Facebook, and I'll answer any questions that are relevant as and when I pop them, see them popping up. Can you see here, this is every little bit, all these little bits of detail, every single piece cuts out this beautiful leaf shape. So I always think it's important to show that they cut, but hopefully you can see there, if I put my hand under, all that detailed tracery, all those little dots that you're getting, because they're cut lines and not embossed lines, they all work. So they all go in. So I've got my piece there, but obviously I don't want to just put that on. I want something, I want it to pop. So I've grabbed a piece of green cards. This is from our canvas card packs, and this one is from the summer greens. And all you do is slap that on, any old how, doesn't have to be the right way up, and literally run that through and cut it. There's nothing complicated. You don't have to tape lots of dies together. You don't have to get your measurements and your sizing and everything right. But what happens is, as soon as that's run through and cut, and I'm just waiting for it to come out, yeah, as soon as that's come through and cut, there we go, centre panels out, keep hold of that, in one piece, in one pass, there we go, there is the piece to line up, and it lines up everywhere, that way, that way. You don't have to know what's the top, what's the bottom, it matches, yeah? And all of the dies will go through, because Michael's just asked a question. So, it's slightly big. You might have to, if you want to go through an A5 machine, you might have to move that. So you might have to move that slightly. So it's kind of, it will fit through some A5 machines. If you've got a smaller sort of A5 machine, you might have to cut it and then move it along and cut it a little bit. Apart from that, you will have to use an A4 machine. But it's 6-inch, so have a look at your plates, but it can work. And someone else just asked about our super tacky glue. It is on reorder. We will get it on here as soon as we can, and it should be back at the end of this month or the beginning of May. So it is on order. So Sarah, so you might have missed the update. Now all I've done is add a little bit of spray glue, and all I do is match it up. Can you remember how difficult it was to match one colour with another when we used to have to use separate dyes? But there, no, perfect, no green showing. But doesn't that look expensive and I think expansive? You know, it really works well, yeah? So that's our frame. But I talked about whole card with the set, and that's what it's so clever with. So what I've got here is a piece of another shade of the green. So I've taken a lighter shade. So I've gone for a lighter shade, again from that Summer Greens pack. And I've cut this one to literally 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Saves on card. And I take the next die in the set, which is just this plain square, yeah, at 3 3/4 inches. I'm just going to pop that in the middle and tape that down. And I'll show you, because we'll put this through the A5. So plate on top and just cut that. So what that will give me first of all is a perfect mat to work with the die, but also So that will give me the perfect frame. But of course, I've got the perfect mat. So you're kind of doing a twofer, because that's the waste piece from cutting our green frame. That's the waste piece from cutting our next frame. But can you see you've got perfect mat and layer? Yeah, so perfect mat and layer. Right, I haven't tested the size of the Big Shot. So Sarah Jane's just asked, in the Big Shot, I think you may have to slide it along a little bit, because basically measure your plates. The whole die is 6 inches, so it needs to fit. So if you can see here, if I put it onto my plates to cut, one side fits, one side hangs over slightly, though it will still go through my machine because it's wide enough. So I'd have to cut it like that and then move it along and cut it like that. So best thing to do is measure your plates or give it a go, because it is a 6-inch die. So you can see there I've got that beautiful piece. So all I can do is when I put that on, look how suddenly that really makes it look more classy, having that extra piece on there. If I just go onto an embossed piece, look how that makes it pop. Yeah. Now what I could do is I've got here, I've rotated it and I've done a white back with a dark green front, but all I've done is cut 2 of those panels. Don't forget you get 4. So I've cut 2 of the panels from this brand new notched vine set into each corner like that. And how different do those 2 frames look? You wouldn't really think they're made from exactly the same die, but they are. And again, I can put that on like that and it gives me an absolutely perfect piece. Just like that. So I'm going to add that on to my frame and I'm going to use some foam tape. Now I'm using 2mm foam tape. It's what I always use because it gives me the right level of sort of distance between it. So let's just pop this on. Perhaps I should have used the other one because it's already glued, but I wanted to show you a full frame made. So a little bit of foam tape on, and we just put this on. Now I want to show you, because I love to try and give you hints and tips and things like that. So because I'm using the mat, what I can do is I can stick this down. I can find literally a line to make sure that that square is even all the way around. Yeah. So I can see the little squares. Once I've got the little squares even in the middle, I can then take that one and drop it on using the outside to get it completely straight. And because this is notched, you might see a little corner pop through. Pop your scissors through, cut it off. Simple as that. Literally as easy as that to do. And then we've got our frame made. So obviously now we want a centre for this. So we want to use a centre, and that's where this centre die panel comes into its own. So all I'm going to do is take a piece again of that coconut white card, cut to the same sort of measurements, sort of 5 1/4, 5 1/4, something like that, and take this panel, which is the next in the set, and just put it down, tape that down, and again this, along with all of the inserts and everything, will fit through your smaller A5 machines. I'm just going to pop it on here and run that through and cut it, and that will give me that beautiful centre panel. Trying to see if I can find a oh no, I was trying to find a sample. I've got samples and things absolutely everywhere, sorry guys. But can you see there, this is the reason I wanted to cut this, was look, one pass, and this has got to be one of the most delicate and intricate dies I think I've ever seen, certainly that I've ever designed. Every single piece with one pass has cut. And this is just into our coconut white essential card, which is on the Art of Craft. So if you do click through because you want to get this die, or you want to get any of the bundles that we've got available, then have a look on the website, because all the card I'm using, all the tools, the mat, everything is on there as well. And I think, as Anne Mountjoy just said, this die would be good to ink through to make it stand out more when it's taken out of the die. Oh, that's a nice idea. I also thought, actually, Anne, you won't get anything by inking through the die onto the finished piece, because there's no side pieces. But if you use this as a stencil, you would get, it really would be beautiful. You get like a Moroccan tile stencil look. That would be beautiful. So what I'm going to do is, I want to bring back this darker colour. You know I don't like waste. So that square that was the waste from the frame is perfect. So I'm just going to spray glue this for speed. Pop this on the back. Like that. There we go. You see how delicate, and it stays flat. But once I frame that together, it's to me, it's absolutely beautiful. So for speed, let's just put a little bit of foam tape on. I don't want to get this absolutely right. So remember, guys, any questions you've got, just ask. This is a brand new and exclusive launch, so you won't see that. You won't see it at the moment anywhere else, and certainly not at this price. So the die on its own is $19.99, or if you want the set with the flowers and leaves as well, that's just $39.97, which is saving you £5. But look there. I think that is just glorious. And all I'm going to do now is just, I've got a card blank that I've already cut, so don't think because it's notched you've got to use notched cards or anything like that. Yeah, all you've got to do, you can go on a square card, and I've just made a card, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 7, a little bit of glue on the back. And someone's just mentioned they'd forgotten about me and spray glue. Yep, I'm a big spray glue fan. What's that? Oh, Nicholas, I can see this working. Nicholas just said I can see this working in Christmas colours. Actually, Nicholas, so can I. I really can see it working beautifully in Christmas colours. So what I'm going to do there, look, how pretty is that? Yeah. And we've made it all while we're doing it. Yeah. So I've made this all whilst we're on the show. I've not pre-cut, apart from the card blank, I've not pre-cut anything. I have pre-cut the flowers and leaves, so I'm going to bring those into the side of me. So I'm not going to sit there and glue all of these on, but this is what I love about these stitched leaves, and this is why they match so well. In the way that the die has this beautiful tracery of little dots in it, let's bring this down so you can see it a little bit better. You can see all their tracery. The leaves have stitched areas through the middle of them where you get the veins in the leaves. So look, you just pop them and they fold perfectly. So just going to arrange those. So that's the largest size, left and right. Same with the medium size. I'm just popping it. That's what's so clever about these. You don't need to know anything you're doing. So let's just, I like a triangle. And then I've got some flowers here made up from those beautiful stitched dogwood. There we go. And just add those in. But that brings all of that colour together. I really think that works. So that is, I've used the flowers and the leaves, and I've used the die, but the main body of that entire card has been made just using this brand new die we've launched tonight. And as I say, this is a brand new exclusive launch here on the craft store via the Art of Craft, which is sort of like our official stockist. So this is the JND 506 notched vines frame. And if you notice, one of the things that Michael just said on there is, I'm just going to clear this die out. One of the best ways to clear intricate dies out is to use one of the brush cleaners. So I use my 4-in-1 tool, but when I've got an intricate die like this, that's what I use, is the brush cleaner. It makes it so much easier. It was how roughly I pulled that center section out, because the design holds it together. It's not about the card, it's actually about the design and the piece that we're actually using. So I want to give you one more demonstration on this one. I'm going to mention the bigger bundle. So if you do want to go for a new center, so that's the card that we've just made. So that's the card we've just made using the die on its own. But look what it looks like when we make it using that infinity center. That's why we've done this larger bundle at $49.96. Again, you're saving £5. Yeah, but look how different the same die looks. Same colours, exactly the same colours, and all I've done is change the centre for the infinity die. That's why I think that one is such a beautiful one. Here's another one I've made, and this time I've tied in. So here I've used this notched 6-inch FrameMaker. Here I've used the 5-inch notched FrameMaker. So it matches perfectly together. So again, all three of those are just all made using the flowers and leaves we've got in this bundle, using that infinity center, and it's using here the notch vines. So that's why we've done that bigger bundle for anyone who's missed out, and that is exceptional value. So I did say I would demo for you something else, and what I want to try and do, or what I've been trying to do, is to demo things that I haven't done in the videos. Yeah, so you remember I said, and there is a video that shows you how to make this card here. Let's pull you up a little bit again. So it shows you how to make this card where the pattern continues by clicking the die back in. I mean, again, I would never think that is the same die set as that. It just looks crazy, because suddenly, look, the focus is on that shape, not on that shape. Yeah, but what you're going to find is, at the moment, that you have to click the die back in. So you can watch the video and it shows you how to do that, but we can cheat. So we can make an easier version of this just by cheating a little bit. So what I'm going to show you is this one. So what I've done here is I've already cut a piece again of our coconut white card, and I've cut this down to 1, 2, 3 3/4 inches by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 7.5 inches. So 3 3/4 by 7.5. Yeah, and all I've done is already at the top. So let's pretend this is the top, and we'll ignore that bit. You take the die and you put it on with an even border all the way around 4 sides, and you cut it. Yeah, so you cut that die in. Now, if you want to repeat it, all you do is move that and click it back in. But you're repeating 3 times. You may want a quicker or easier version. So Emma Woods just asked, what size is that card? Which card do you mean, Emma? The piece I'm working on now is 3 3/4 by 7.5. The first card I made was a 7 by 7 card. So what you're going to do is you're just going to do exactly the same. Rotate it round and just stick this die down at the top and the bottom, leaving a gap, and you run that through and cut it. And again, I am going to run it through and cut it, although I've already got a piece that's cut. Now you may find, because this is one of my favorite tips, yeah, when you put it down, because there's not a lot of card for it to stick to, it might move in your die cutting machine. So never be afraid of taping a die to your plate. Sometimes it's one of the safest things to do. Tape a die to your plate as well as to the card, and then it won't move. So I'm just going to run that through, but I've got a piece here already done. And all I've done is added this to a piece of the sort of flamingo pink. So this is from our, this is from the canvas card packs again. because I'm always being asked for colours, so I'd really want to let people know what colours we can use. So this is from our from the Deep Reds pack, and this is sort of like the flamingo pink colour. And all I've done again is glued that back on. Yeah, so I've glued that on, and then I've added some foam tape on the back. Simple as that. And then I've got a larger card I've made. So this is like a DL card, which I think I'm getting more into. So I've made this. It's slightly different. It's a little bit wider perhaps than a normal DL. But so it's 1, 2, 3. It's 4.5 inches by full A4, which is 8 1/4. Yeah. So I'm just going to add this on. So I've added a bit of foam tape onto here, nice and simple. And I'm going to put that onto there. And so I put some mats and layers on, just so I've got those colours showing. But of course, I've got that big panel in the middle. Yeah? So I've got that big, massive panel in the middle. So what I can do is one of two things. So the first thing I can do is I could take one of the John Next Door sort of handy sentiments, and these will actually fit. So I can take one that's on the strips, and these all come from the strip set, which has the beautiful strips on it. It has this happy birthday. I can take my precision press, and I can simply stamp that in the middle on that stripe. Yeah. Alternatively, what we can do, I like that one, I might get covered in gravy if I tape my die to my plate. Well done, Anne Mountjoy. But I meant, you know what I meant. Of course you did. The other option, and this is the best way to hide something like this, yeah, is just cut yourself a little strip and use that stamp on it. And if you do that, can you see, nobody can tell, yeah, that it's not joined. So it's the cleverest way. I nicked this off our Carol Bignell sample, which I don't know where I've put it now. I did have that sample out. But I nicked that idea from our Carol. So I've just cut, it's 1 inch, 1 1/8 and 1 1/4. There we go. Just like that. And what I can do is use the design to get it in the centre. So I'm making sure I've got the same top and bottom. Stick that on, and then nobody can tell that that panel doesn't continue all the way down there. So you're still, this time you're focusing on that big pattern there. And then I've brought in, I've got some more of the leaves. So again, this is using those stitched leaves and the stitched dogwood flower. I've got that one. I've obviously trimmed that one off already for some reason. Don't know why. I'm always prepping these up. And then here we go. And then I've made up my flowers, and my flowers are made with the stitched dogwood. And all I've done is use two layers of the same size together. Question, you made, oh, I've missed that one. I'm just going to have a look what you made reminds me of a Christmas rose, so it'll be great for Christmas. Oh, it is a bit like a hellebore, isn't it? The green and white flower. I get what you mean, Erica. It is like that. Yeah, that's just made with, I will try and do a video on making that flower. I'll try and do a separate video this week on making that flower. But this one, all I've done is use two of the same size, just pinched the petals, and then I've added a smaller white in the centre. But they really look so different. And that's what I love about this as a die plate, because every single time I make a flower, it looks different. Every single flower comes out differently, all just using the same die. You can get so many different flowers from the same die. Again, just to bring in this one, again, just how different they look, just with a different centre. They look almost like carnations on that, but they're not pinched as much, yeah? I'm not saying, everyone keeps saying about dinosaur, and I'm not seeing dinosaur, thankfully. I don't think I actually, I can see him now, yes. I can see the walking T-Rex. It's amazing what we see in there. So I've just made a set of these up, just using those beautiful, and again, another tip for you that I always say and don't do, even when you're using stick-on pearls, they fall out. And this is what I'd say is, if you're going for this die on its own, just add in a glue glaze, so you go over that free P&P, because that will make sure that these pearls are permanently on there. There we go. And that will stop the pearls pinging out. So all I'm going to do is the same thing again. I'm just going to pinch. These petals are so easy to pinch. Look, they're completely flat. Because the stitch detail is not an emboss line, it's a cut. Then they cut in. Then literally it just folds by pinching it. I'm not doing anything other than pinching it between two fingers. But look how 3D suddenly those leaves look with no work. And that's what I absolutely love about doing this. And you can pinch these up and down. So let's just do 4 of those. So the same thing again. Here we go. Even the smallest ones will still pinch, look. Because it's a stitch, it's a cut detail all the way through this die. That's why it's included, because it works with this delicate look. So I am a pearl missing. So again, if you're putting pearls in the middle, even self-adhesive stick-on, always put a little bit of glue glaze in there. It stops them pinging off, and the last thing you want is for them to ping off when you actually send the card. And they always do. The number of times I receive samples and have to fix sort of gems back into the middle. So for speed, I'm just going to take my leaves and turn them over onto the back. And I'm doing this because I've got them pinched. So just adding a couple of bits of my standard Craft Artist PVA glue on the back of each leaf where that fold is. Normally I would be using my glue glaze, but I'm trying to speed through because I'm noticing that, you know, we are literally 10 minutes away from the end of the show, which is crazy. So let's just pop these on, creating a little spray to the side. And I always tend to let them come off the edge of the card a little bit. And then to add my flowers on, I'm just going to use my 3D glue gel. Oh, there is a little tiny dinosaur. Thank you. And Mountjoy's just said there's a little tiny, I don't know how you've spotted that, dinosaur cut piece on the mat. Yes. So again, if you want to make dinosaur cards. So when I'm putting flowers on, glue gel's the best thing ever. But by putting this on like this, what we're actually doing is we're moving attention away from the fact that we've put a little sort of barrier in almost. So you see, again, I've lost a pearl because I didn't glue it properly. It's always, if you can, glue glaze into the middle. Yeah. Thank you. Deborah's just said an absolutely gorgeous collection. Thank you, Deborah. I am so proud of this collection. And it's taken a long while for this one to come out. I'm not going to say you saved the best till last, but I do sometimes feel like that one. But now this is your complete. So this completes your collection of the FrameMakers. So this gives you a complete collection of a 7-inch, 6-inch and 5-inch, and they all work together with them. Oh, some patterned flower stamps would look nice on those flowers. They would, wouldn't they? That's a really nice idea. They beautifully cut in patterned paper. But you can see there that I would not know, and I'm supposed to know these things, I would not know that that card is made with the exact same dies as that card. So both of those that we've made tonight are made just using the same die set or the same bundle. So it's all made just using the Notched Vines FrameMaker. I'm going to put that on one side because I want to show you. I did run this through, but just to show you, and I'm, as Michael said, I'm not gentle when I'm pulling that out. So there is our centre die. Yeah. But there, and that was one pass, we have got, yeah, we have got quite a few little dinosaurs in it, isn't there? It's just how it's worked. But you can see how beautifully that is. So that's just, that whole card is made just using that panel die cut twice. But I would never think that this one die set, so this is the JND 506 Notched Vine set, available exclusively through here, the craft store, and available on the Art of Craft tonight, £19.99. So you're saving £2 on RRP. And you want to, if you want to be the first to get it, then you need to click on the link and actually go ahead and get hold of that, because that you're not going to get it any quicker anywhere else. So that's that die set. But I wanted to show you, so we have got that, we have got the other bundles, I've got so many more samples, and remember the videos. But one of the things I wanted to show you as well was that this was designed as well to match with the smaller 5-inch that we did. So I'm just going to move these out of the way. Oh, that's lovely. Judy's just said, beautiful, stylish and classy card. Do you know what? I think I actually prefer that now to that one. Although again, look, how different do those two cards look? Made with exactly the same products. So made exactly the same. So Michael's just asked, do we have a full list of the dies that we've brought out? I don't just, the JND code is used for everything we bring out. There isn't an up-to-date list, but we will look at having an up-to-date list sent out. We are now on 506, which means that we've done 506 products under the John Next Door brand in this 7 or 8 years we've been going, which is not too bad. So what I wanted to show you as well is that using this die, so here we have the FrameMaker on its own. So this is the FrameMaker on its own. This is the 6-inch FrameMaker. So you can see it is exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches by 6 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But one of the things that we've done is I did a FrameMaker, and this was the first launch. So this is the last of the notched FrameMakers. Yeah, the last. This is the 5-inch. Oh, hold up, that looks the same size. So this is the 5-inch, but watch. They are the only ones that have the square centre, but they were designed so it could work together like this and give you a perfect notched frame into a square. And to do that, you do need both. But what you can also do is this will work underneath as a layer. And can you see it doesn't show in the corners? So if you got the 5-inch, you may want the 6-inch to match with it. So the 6-inch will take your sort of die cutting, you take the whole design somewhere else. And the other thing is the center die within the 5-inch will also fit in with the die that's in the set into the 6-inch. So if you loved that center panel from the first notch frame that we did, it is available on the website as well. It will actually fit in and tie in, because that fits there. Then in this die set there's another square, look, that is in series, so they will all fit together. So that was the whole idea of basically them all fitting together. Wow, I can't believe I've gone through so much, and I've got 2 or 3 minutes left. So let's go. Let's say hello. Hello. I'm back. I love doing this on the front as well so that everyone can see. And you're in the craft cave. You are looking at my working space of where I work. This isn't a fancy studio or anything. This is exactly where I work. So what we've launched tonight here exclusively on the craft store and also via the Art of Craft. So you can only purchase this through the links onto the Art of Craft. There is nowhere else that has this, and certainly not at this price, but no one else has this at all. This is exclusive at the minute, is the brand new JND 506 notched vines frame. So you have in here 5, 6, 7 dies in here that all match together. Yeah. Hello, Anthea. Our lovely Anthea's watching. Oh, and Anthea from Quilting Antics. Yeah, if you get a chance, watch. She does beautiful stuff with tweed. I must get some, actually. I must get some tweed and tie it in. It would really work. I'm currently working on a set that would work with that. So this is the notch vine frame that we've launched tonight, exclusive. So this is $19.99, and that's available now. You can also get, if you want to, so you can add in, I put everything everywhere, so nothing's ever neat. You can add in, if you want to, the brand new notch FrameMaker with the flower and the leaf that we only launched a couple of weeks ago. And that one is just $39.97, and you're saving £5 on that one. And that's obviously what I've used to make all of the beautiful cards that we've been making tonight. That one is my absolute favourite. Or alternatively, if you did miss out on the full collection that we launched a couple of weeks ago, you can add into there the infinity die, which fits perfectly in the centre. So you can get hold of, and this is just $49.96, which is the entire, which is saving you £5. Actually, in total on RRP, it's saving you more like £10. But on our existing individual price of saving £5, you'll get the brand new notch frame. You'll get the centre for it. We only launched 2 weeks ago. The stitch leaves and the dogwood flower as well. So you've got loads of options on there. Remember, this is an exclusive. And I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. And I hope you've seen something that interests you. And, or at least if not, you've seen something in the demos that interests you. I will be back on Wednesday night on the Art of Craft at 6 o'clock. So if you want to watch for some midweek bargains and demos, or alternative, join me on the John Next Door official page, where I go live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock with an hour of just demonstrations. And it'll be all demonstrations on this, but Friday, if you switch between, you do get Wednesday. Sorry, if you switch between, you do get 2 hours. I don't know why you'd do it, but thank you for joining me tonight. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope that those of you who've got it, that your post is very, very quick. And take care, guys, and I will say goodbye.